and it's lights out or lights on, and away we go as Formula 1 heads to Bahrain in the desert, in the sandy desert of Sakhir, as we head into round 2 of the Formula 1 season. Now we're just recovering off the Australian Grand Prix. Yes, F1 is back, as I've said many times before. Everyone's very, very happy as well. So we're coming into round 2, and obviously this is the preview of our preview of the 2019 Bahrain Grand Prix. So I'm quite excited for this one as well, because Australia, even though it was a street circuit, and obviously overtaking was quite difficult. Yes, there was 14 overtakes compared to 3 in 2018, but obviously we didn't properly get to see the true speeds of some cars. Like, for example, we don't fully understand how Honda is doing with Red Bull, because even though Verstappen had a brilliant drive, at the same time Gasly did misjudge obviously qualifying, as like I said before, but then obviously didn't perform well in the race. Ferrari were just underperforming. They're saying that now they're making excuses. Okay, it was this, it was that, and now they're saying that the car's going to be back to properly full spec, everything as well, coming to Bahrain. So there's a lot of speculation as well. So again, not only was I excited for the Australian Grand Prix to see how good everyone was, I think Bahrain is going to, as like I said, separate the men from the boys, because there's a lot of long straights. There's a much easier to overtake. DRS is much stronger. There's a third DRS zone, I believe, from heading into turn 4 at the chicane. After obviously you come out first corner, second corner, and obviously the little kink of 3, and then obviously that like half a mile straight, if you like, and that's I believe that is the new DRS zone. So obviously see some more, some improved overtaking there. So heading into Bahrain, obviously as I said at the beginning, lights on. Obviously the first night race of the 2019 Formula 1 season. You could say there's 3 if you like, if you want to class Abu Dhabi, but normally there's like 2 fully night races. I think Abu Dhabi is obviously day to night, but obviously I do like the spec of the Bahrain Grand Prix as it is being night. Has been night since 2014, obviously when it was the 10th running of the Bahrain Grand Prix, decided to go to night. This year is the 15th running, and obviously you imagine that they might go back to daylight. I mean, they might do that for the 20th running, I don't know, but nope, it's still staying under light. Obviously a start time of 4:10 in the afternoon UK time. It's obviously more reasonable than Australia. So, my predictions, my top 3 for the 2019 Bahrain Grand Prix. Yet again, it is a tricky one, because I did kind of muck up my predictions in the Australian one, because I did say that at least one of the Ferraris will get on the podium. And to be fair, I wasn't the only one who probably thought that, because a lot of people kind of said that Ferrari was going to come into Australia and show some really true pace, and they didn't at all, which was quite weird, to be honest. I think there was a little glimpse when Charles Leclerc banged it in a P1 and Q1 or Q2, and then there was little glimpses, but there wasn't enough for a lot of people. For me, for myself, it was quite disappointing to see Ferrari quite a way off from the Mercedes boys. But I think it is a full interpretation. I do believe that Ferrari do have a quick car. They might have got the set wrong, like they said. Something was wrong on that car in Australia, and I think they have corrected that in Bahrain. But again, as like a lot of people do in Formula 1, everyone just jumps on the bandwagon immediately and just assumes that it's all crisis at Ferrari. Same with Pierre Gasly. As like I said, everyone was talking about him possibly being replaced already after race 1. I mean, I did say in the debate show that, okay, I'm expecting people, if Gasly doesn't perform, I'm expecting people to say, okay, he could be replaced by Kvyat, but I wasn't expecting it after round 1, which is a bit weird to say the least. But anyways, my top 3. So obviously before getting into my top 3, leave us your predictions in the comment section below. Top 3, top 10, if you want to go for the full shebang, top 20 as well, obviously, and retirements if you want to include that. So in third place, I'm going with the Ferrari driver Sebastian Vettel. Now, as I said, very disappointing result in Australia, P4 for Sebastian Vettel. Not where he wanted to be, not where we expected to be, to say the least. Ferrari, very, very poor showing, very, very disappointing as well. Obviously, massive disappointment as well for his teammate, Charles Leclerc in P5. Team orders were in use as well. Understandable, okay. Not a fan of them, but, what can you do at the end of the day? That is Formula 1. They all have a team to run, I understand. We move on to the next race. So, obviously, Sebastian Vettel is one that, again, like Australia, has won the past 2 Grand Prix. So, am I expecting him to win again? No, I'm not, to be fair. Obviously not, because, I put him in P3. Of course I'm expecting to win. Jesus Christ. It is late. And so I'm expecting a bit of a better performance, a podium at least. If they don't get on the podium again, and let's say it's because of pace, then if I was a Ferrari fan or a mechanic, I would be a little worried. I wouldn't say I'm like, oh my God, pull my hair up, but I would be like, right, okay, something isn't quite right, because if they aren't performing at a track where high speed is critical, like the next one in China, 1,000 Grand Prix, by the way, So obviously, if the car isn't performing, then yes, I would be worried. So yes, I'm putting Sebastian Vettel in P3, the winner of 2017 and 2018. I'm putting him in a P3. In P2, I'm going with the last race winner in Valtteri Bottas. Now, what an impressive showing from the Finn. I mean, you applaud it wherever it's due, because everyone wrote him off at the start of the season. He proved everybody wrong. He silenced loads of critics, us, even myself, because I was in the last debate show. We were talking about how, sorry, not the last one, the one before that, episode 107, I think, where we were talking about drivers who could possibly be sacked at the end of 2019, and Valtteri Bottas was one of those drivers. And I think now, probably not. I know it's only one race. He's got, there's 20 more to go, but after that, it does have to send his, his what's the word I'm looking for? His emotions quite, sky high. His momentum, his belief in, to new levels after winning that race, beating Lewis Hamilton fair and square by over 20 seconds, guys. Wow. And now he has an 8-point lead over the Brit as well. So, good showing from Valtteri Bottas as well. So, obviously, Valtteri Bottas got a pole position in 2017 as well. And he had he gave Vettel for a good run of his money in 2018 as well. Very, very impressive. Very, very close as well. I remember sitting on the edge of my seat just like, oh my God, is Bottas going to catch him? Go on, Bottas. Get him. Yes, that's it. Well, that's what we want. We want a good close battling in Formula 1 as well. Obviously, Vettel emerged out victorious. And just a little stat as well I just want to share with you guys, that the winners from the since 2015 in Bahrain have been the same. Has been the same winners from Australia. So in 2015 was Hamilton, 2016 was Rosberg, 2017 was Vettel, and 2018 was Vettel. So 2019, Valtteri Bottas won the Australian Grand Prix. But will he win the Bahrain Grand Prix? Me personally, I don't think so. I think it's going to go to his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Now, Hamilton, for me, brilliant driver at the end of the day. As like I said many a time, I'm not a Hamilton fanboy. Let's just get out the way right now. But I'm starting to fall for him a bit, if you know what I mean. Not that way, but I'm like falling right. You know what? I do like you as a driver. To be fair, I can't really deny it anymore. I know people will some say, "All right, you're a fool, you're an idiot, or whatever." But no, I do like him. As a driver, and I do believe he has got what it takes to win this race. Alright, he had damage to his floor, maybe that's why he was so far behind. Me personally, I don't think the floor was enough to have a massive 20-25 second gap over his teammate. It might have helped, it might have, hindered his performance just a bit, but not 25 seconds. No way, to be fair. And I think Hamilton just had an off day, which is very rare, but it can happen. So he's only human at the end of the day, and he's getting on a bit. So reactions, quickness not the same. Has it lost a little bit of speed? Obviously, only time will tell. But me personally, nah, I think it's just a one-off. He'll come back even stronger in Bahrain, because that's what he does. I mean, look at 2016. He lost the championship to Rosberg. He won 10 races and still lost the championship. And then, obviously, the following season he came on and won it. And I thought he was like, right, that's him gone. He's not going to win it at all anymore. In 2017 at least. So obviously, I believe for me, Lewis Hamilton will emerge victorious, no problem whatsoever. I think it's going to have a comfortable race. Let's say about 10-15 second gap over Bottas. It might be quite close at the start, but once the strategy comes in as well, I think Hamilton will just pull away, no problem whatsoever. So that is my top 3. Let us know yours in the comment section below. But I'm now going to hand over to Lal to give his predictions and his thoughts on the Grand Prix of Bahrain.
Now that the teams and drivers, and indeed the fans, have had a taste of Formula 1 in 2019, we are set, and it feels like we're in the middle of the season. That Formula 1 in 2019 has really hotted up as we head into round 2, which is at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, Australia still was a good race. There wasn't loads of overtakes, there wasn't loads of midfield battles. Obviously, normal service resumed like it has in the last few years. Obviously, Mercedes taking the victory, but not the guy we expected. Obviously, that was a really, really big thing. Valtteri Bottas wins the race. He fooled us all, and to whoever it concerns, stars. And I think he really summed that up in his radio message. Obviously, now that we roll into Bahrain, now with Australia, it is a straight circuit. Even though you might not think it, obviously, it's very green around Albert Park. It is used, obviously, normal every day. It is a green city circuit, as it's known as. Not really too much on speed, obviously, kind of aerodynamics, and obviously a lot of corners. I think it's about 17 corners on the tracks. Obviously, it's going to be different dynamics to obviously what it is at the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain. Obviously, a track in the middle of the desert, only used for racing. Obviously, with its immense heat in the twilight, obviously heading from late evening to obviously a night race. Obviously, I love watching night races. Like when I went to Singapore Obviously, they are really, really good. So obviously, we're going to head into this race, round 2, obviously with Mercedes on 44 points, and obviously that's one more point than that's 26 points for Valtteri Bottas and 18 for Lewis Hamilton. As you all know, the 1 point, only one, is very, very contested. Obviously, we'll be mentioning that in the preview show. So I'm going to kick off my prediction that in third place, I'm going to be going for Sebastian Vettel of Scuderia Ferrari. Now, when he came into Australia, big guy, he was expected to win the championship by at least half the people. Obviously, of course, it's going to go Sebastian Vettel or Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, he missed out last year. The first part of the season, he was really, really flying. The second part, we don't know. People are blaming himself, people are blaming his car, but he fell off the pace, and obviously, of course, Mercedes did really catch up in a really big way, obviously, especially with Lewis Hamilton. So I feel like Sebastian Vettel didn't get the full car that he needed in Australia. Obviously, Ferrari were having speed problems, they weren't able to keep up with the Mercedes. Obviously, they were really off the pace. I don't even think they set a fastest lap. Obviously, Mercedes and Red Bull did. Obviously, Max Verstappen sharing, breaking up between Hamilton and Bottas. So Ferrari really need to sort out the pace, but obviously, as I said, Bahrain is a great testing ground. Obviously, they have 2 main straights, obviously some big two DRS zones, obviously, and really big opportunities for overtakes. In second place, I'm going to be going for the winner of the Australian Grand Prix, which is Valtteri Bottas of Petronas Mercedes AMG. I feel like Valtteri Bottas is going to be a real contender this year. It makes me kind of smile a lot when I talk about Valtteri Bottas, because obviously we wrote him off. Not just us, a lot of people, wrote him off as kind of the guy who's not going to be there. It's going to be the 2 Red Bulls, it's going to be the 2 Ferraris, it's going to be the 1 Mercedes. Obviously, Pierre, Max at Red Bull, Charles and Sebastian at Ferrari, and then Lewis at Mercedes, and no Valtteri Bottas. He's going to be kind of the guy who, with the 3 wins, obviously, in winter testing, his 3 wins, it wasn't going to be a Valtteri year. It was looking like he might be on his way out to be replaced, but obviously he makes it win number 4. A good race from him, but obviously it's still number 4, and obviously podium number 31. It still isn't fantastic for him, but he's on a good roll. Especially getting the extra point in in the race, obviously for the extra point for the fastest lap. It's a speed orientated circuit. That will favour the Mercedes drivers, and of course they do well in Bahrain. Obviously one of my favourite races, obviously probably one of your favourite races, obviously round 2 in the 2014 season, obviously was the Bahrain Grand Prix between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Obviously the first kind of spice in the fire between their long-awaited rivalry at Mercedes. Obviously a really, really great race, and yeah, they just really take it by storm. I feel like he will do well in this race, but obviously he will be beaten by 1 driver, and of course the winner of the race is going to be Lewis Hamilton. He will perform amazing this week. I really have a feeling that he will turn up on the Fridays. He will basically blow everyone out of the water in the practice sessions. Saturday, he will obviously take pole position. I think that he will, because Lewis Hamilton, of course, is just the god of pole positions. He has absolutely loads. He's really smashed Senna's, and he's smashed Schumacher's record. He really, really has. I mean, he might not get all-time wins. We're not going to say that yet, because obviously he still has a long way to go. 21, I think, of time of recording. But obviously he will go out in the top. If he goes out right now, let's say, he will go off as the highest and probably unbeaten, I would say, in terms of how many pole laps he actually has. Obviously added to that tally in Australia, and I feel like he will do that again in Bahrain. In terms of the race, obviously I feel like Mercedes have a good strategy. Obviously they always have done. They always have the edge on other teams as well. They are good on power, and yeah, Bahrain I think will be a track to suit them. So I think that it'll go back to normal kind of permutations. Lewis Hamilton at first place, Valtteri Bottas in second place, and obviously Sebastian Vettel in third place. I feel like Max Verstappen and the Red Bull, and I was saying this to Jordan when we were recording the other day, what I was saying about Valtteri Bottas, that it was 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris and 1 Mercedes, it's kind of now switched over. Obviously, of course, I rate Pierre. I think a lot of people do. We knew that he needed to grow into the team, but now it's changed to 2 Mercedes drivers, 2 Ferrari drivers, and 1 Red Bull, and obviously that is Max Verstappen. Honda engines are doing a good job, or at least what we saw in Australia. I'm not saying that they're great. I'm not going to say that they are great because we knew the problems that they've had, obviously minor ones with Toro Rosso, but we know that the biggest ones is obviously what they had with McLaren, obviously back in a few years ago, obviously with Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button. And, you know, I feel like they are doing well. Obviously Pierre does have to go into the team, of course, obviously everything that is right, but Max Verstappen is doing a great job pulling himself through as basically the only Red Bull, and I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of races this year. Obviously I feel like we'll give Pierre a few races, obviously see how he does. I do feel like he will get better, probably will creep up on the podium, obviously because even though Danny was a great driver, Danny Kvyat did do that, if he get on the podium. So I feel like Pierre will do that. But Max is doing a great job. He did a great job in Australia. He kind of breaks it up. He's really a bit of a diamond in the rough driver, Max Verstappen. I was watching a season review the other day with 2012, and it was Sebastian and Fernando. And of course there was different winners. And at the end it showed like Kimi Räikkönen holding the Joker cards. And I feel like Max is a little bit like that. I don't mean the Joker, I mean like the guy who can get in the way and separate these kind of big drivers from obviously, you know, big achievements of what they want to do. So I feel like Max did a great race in Australia. He's going to do great races. He's probably going to sneak onto the podium here and there and everywhere. And I feel like he will do a good race in Bahrain, but obviously the podium permutations are packed. He can't fill that. So I'm going to say good fourth place for him. Daniel Ricciardo, I'm going to say, is in fifth place. Now, he had a bad Australian Grand Prix. The Renault power unit was good. They were saying that it was good. Obviously, he felt good in qualifying as well. He had a bad race. Obviously, he started off terrible mistake by him. I wouldn't say it's all his fault. It really is just unlucky that obviously he did collect a curb. Probably doesn't need to be looked at by the Albert Park officials, but as I've said, obviously it was a drain because it's a normal. It is used as, you know, a normal road. It probably actually is already now used as a normal road. You know, Jeffrey from Melbourne is probably driving down as we speak. So obviously nothing really can be done about that. It just is really, really unfortunate for him. But I feel like he will have a good race. I feel like he'll have a lot to prove. He has done well in Bahrain before, and yeah, that is just really my dumb luck kind of thing for what I think will happen in Bahrain. Charles Leclerc in 6th place, good in that Ferrari. Pierre Gasly in 7th place. I feel like he has a lot to prove from Australia. It was 11th place that he finished, obviously battling Danny Kvyat. He did a good job in that. But as I say, it needs a Red Bull, it needs to be higher. Red Bull also have obviously done very well at the track before. One of my favourite races was Sebastian Vettel in 2013 in the Red Bull. I think Mark Webber came in third that race, but Sebastian Vettel did win the race in a spectacular fashion, and obviously went on to win 13 in that year. Nico Hülkenberg, obviously the second of the Renaults, in 8th place. 9th place, Lance Stroll. 10th place, Sergio Perez. Obviously, I have mentioned the 2 Racing Points. We had a comment last time saying that we didn't mention Racing Point, but here we are. They are mentioned here. They are very fast. And the reason I've put them there is from what I saw in Belgium 2018, battling Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel on coming up out of Radion onto the Kemmel Straight was absolutely amazing. And obviously just missing out, I'm going to say Lando Norris. I have done a lot of predictions here, but obviously just count the top 3. I feel like everyone will score points here, but it will be a very, very contested battle. There might even be like a second or two between all of these drivers. I feel like Bahrain is going to be a very, very close-knit race because we haven't seen everything from the teams yet, and obviously they have a lot to prove. In terms of the reliability, I do feel like both McLarens will finish. Carlos Sainz really just hitting unlucky, but Lando Norris doing a very good job in that car. Again, obviously with McLaren, there's one thing that you've got to remember, and it's not just how good you drive, it's also the reliability. For some reason, and it's, you know, happened with Honda, it happened with Mercedes quite a lot actually towards the end. It happened with Honda, obviously a lot. And it's even happening with Renault, where they are just having reliability problems, and then even the Renault team, and they're not having problems. It's really, really strange with McLaren, but unfortunately that's just one thing they have to worry about even more. And obviously the last team I'm going to mention is Haas. Williams, who we did talk about in our last F1 debate show. I do feel like they will have a bad race. Again, I'm going to say last. I'm sorry, Williams, but we need to see more from you. It's just a car. You are both, you know, George and Robert, good drivers. I'm not going to say great. There is a lot still to talk about them. We'll see how their form goes. We'll see who finishes in front of who. But yeah, there's not much to say about Williams. So that is my predictions for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, let me know what you think about my predictions in the comment section below. And then have a great enjoy watching the race. Obviously, it's really, really great to get back a normal time as well. And as I say now, we've got rid of Australia, which is a great race, but it's a season opener. It's a bit like an eye rubbing your eyes, waking up in the morning. And we are now back in the Formula 1 season, right in the thick of it. And obviously also the last races in 3 digits. So obviously Bahrain will be absolutely fantastic. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on Sunday in the review show. And then, Jordan, back to you. And I hope you agree with his predictions, guys. And obviously I will see you after Bahrain.
Some good predictions there from Lalo as well. So obviously, yes. He's just as good predictions as I've made as well. So obviously, yes, that's his top 3. I've said my top 3. As like I said, let us know your top 3, top 5, top 10, whatever, in the comment section below. So a little bit, obviously, now we've made our predictions, I'm going to do some, talk about some outsiders, as like I did for the Australian Grand Prix. Now, one of the teams I want to talk about is McLaren. Now, McLaren coming into Australia, I was very optimistic, to say the least. I mean, the midfield is just so close right now. And one of the teams I thought was going to do well was McLaren, and that was not the case whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, I thought Lando Norris did brilliantly getting the Q3, P8 on his debut. Very, very impressive. But that shouldn't have where the car, the car shouldn't have been there. The likes of Gasly should have been, pretty higher up as well. And obviously some other drivers as well who misjudged how much the track was evolving. So obviously that has to play a part in it. And obviously Carlos Sainz's engine blew up during the race as well, the first retirement of 2019, and that's not a good start to have. So obviously I was gutted to see that. Again, the Renault engine blowing up, so I'm like, oh god, don't bring back the Honda days. And as like I said before, McLaren were the only team. I know Williams didn't score obviously, but let's just cast that to one side for now. McLaren were the only team not to score, which I thought was quite disappointing because we could have got points. Obviously, Lando was one of the drivers who was hindered behind the so-called Giovinazzi train, likes of Stroll and Kvyat as well. I think it was one of them as well. He was stuck behind, obviously obviously him who was out too late. Obviously his tyres were shot, worn. He kept defending. Obviously hindered a couple of drivers' strategy. Lando Norris was one of them. I'm expecting good things from him. I'm expecting at least one of the McLaren to score points this weekend. I do believe the car is good. Obviously, Australia might not have shown it properly, but I do believe that we can have a good showing in Bahrain. If it's poor and abysmal, then I would be quite worried for McLaren's sake as well, and my sake as well, because obviously I am a McLaren follower as well. And obviously a very, very impressive showing from Danny Kvyat as well, obviously from Toro Rosso Honda, scoring a point on his F1 return, if you like. And obviously now he's scored a point in consecutive races, because his last race was the US Grand Prix back in 2017 when he was standing in for Pierre Gasly, who was racing in Super Formula at the time. Obviously, he had to go off to win his Super Formula title, but then the Typhoon obviously cancelled that race. So obviously, he was just like, well, what's the point in going anyway? So obviously, he went, didn't win the title, lost about half a point, came back to Toro Rosso, and obviously, Kvyat, despite scoring the point, didn't keep his seat. Obviously, he came back this season and obviously scoring 1 point in the opening race. Very, very impressive as well. Albon, obviously, he had a decent race as well. I think he finished in P13, I think he did. I might be wrong. Obviously, I might be wrong. And obviously, again, good showing from the Toro Rosso boys. I'm looking for them. Alfa Romeo, Kimi Räikkönen, very, very good job as well. P9, I think he got. So, obviously, Kimi Räikkönen, good driver, good team at Alfa Romeo. Getting them all in together, getting them, into a good unit. And I think they could be on for a good race as well. I'm expecting more points from Kimi. Giovinazzi, no, I think they will get the strategy right again. Well, the better. Obviously, they should get their strategy right coming into this race as well, and obviously not leaving Giovinazzi out on those tyres for too long as well. And obviously, Daniel Ricciardo, I do want to see a good showing from him. Obviously, after this weird accident that he had when he went over the grass pit and obviously damaged his front wing, almost instantaneously. And obviously, I do want to see how well he can perform in the race, maybe score some points. Nico Hulkenberg, P7. It has to be. He was born P7. And finally, a couple of stats about the Bahrain Grand Prix to round off this podcast with. So, for one of the stats that I found out is if Lewis Hamilton leads the race by 25 more laps during the course of the Bahrain Grand Prix, then he would have hit the 4,000 laps in the lead mark, and he's about 1,111 laps away from Michael Schumacher, who holds the record at 5,111. So obviously that's an accolade to look out for as well. And another one as well, out of the 14 Grand Prix that have been held in Bahrain, nine of the drivers who have won have went on to become world champion. Obviously none of them in the past 2 years. Obviously Sebastian Vettel winning those races, but you know, it could be 10 out of 15. Obviously, let's see how it goes. So obviously, Bahrain is a very good circuit. If you do want to become world champion, one of the races that you have to win at is that race. So that's your stats. That's our predictions, and that is the Bahrain Grand Prix preview. If you have been watching, thank you very much for watching as well. If you are new around here, then please like and subscribe as well. Comment below your predictions about anything that I've said in this preview as well. Videos to look out for this weekend. The debate show is coming out on Saturday at 6 PM UK time, and don't forget to watch out for the review of the Bahrain Grand Prix, which Lal will be doing as well. So don't forget to go and join him as well and discuss the race with him. So obviously all those videos to look out for as well, and some very good ones coming up in the next few weeks as well. We've got a lot planned for the coming races, and obviously some special videos for the 1000 Grand Prix. So anyway, guys, that's been the F1 Debate Show review about the Bahrain Grand Prix, and until next time, we'll see you later.